Joining us now is Republican Study Committee Chairman, Indiana Congressman Jim Banks. Mr. Jim Banks, welcome back. So I ran across this great article in the New York Post, and mind-blowingly corrupt GOP congressman outlines worst part of $3.5 trillion bill, which is really a $5 trillion bill. And so I think it's really good. Fishing out specifics is more important than the phony baloney top line, whatever they're going to do with that. Tell me some of your worst offensive budget items that you're going to crash against.
Well, that's right, Larry. You look at the public polling that shows over half of Americans support this $3.5 trillion, $5 trillion reconciliation package, and you realize the Republicans are not doing a good enough job of explaining what's actually in the bill. Yes, the price tag is really high and dangerous, and inflation is going to go through the roof. But when you tell the American people that this will put your daycare out of business because it requires college degrees for daycare workers, or if you tell them that this will mean that your gas prices will be higher than you've ever paid at the pump before, and that will affect the bottom line. When we explain that to the American people, the public support for this bill goes down drastically. We have a duty to tell the American people what's actually in the bill. Yes, there's mass amnesty. Yes, it will give college tuition to illegals and child tax credits to those who come here illegally. It will increase by 10 times the fines on businesses that don't comply with the Biden vaccine mandate, which will put a lot of businesses, small businesses, family-owned businesses in America out of business. I mean, we need to do a better job of telling the American people about that. And I think that when we do, we'll have a better opportunity of killing this disastrous bill. One
of my favorites from your top 10 list of golden oldies, $8 billion for a civilian climate corps. Do we need a civilian climate corps? And do we need to spend $8 billion on that?
Yeah, this is one of those ideas that when AOC started talking about it a few years ago, the beginnings of the Green New Deal, we all kind of laughed at it because it was so outrageous. We thought this would never happen. But it's a key part of this reconciliation bill to create a climate police department or a climate militia from the federal government. So the federal government will go hire a bunch of climate change activists and give them a badge and tell them to go out and enforce the Green New Deal mandates. Can you imagine how dangerous that would be? The American people already don't trust federal law enforcement, but when they come knocking on your door and go after you for not incorporating the key tenets of the Green New Deal in your family home, your family business, on the family farm, this is really going to get out of control.
I know, of course, everybody knows they want to expand Medicare and Medicaid and once again break the bank. But I wasn't aware one of your bullets here is expanding Obamacare with more mandates on business. Can you just mention that a bit, please?
Well, I mean, when you get into the details of that and some of these other mandates, it just means that the cost of doing business will be so out of control, Larry, that most small businesses won't be able to afford it. I mean, at the end of the day, what it means to you as a working person is that the business that you work for is going to struggle to survive. And many businesses, because of these Obamacare mandates, are already struggling. But when you increase them in the way that this reconciliation package will, it means that most small businesses, over 90% of businesses in America are small businesses. And you put these kind of mandates on them, they will go out of business and you will lose your job. That's a reason alone to vote against this bill.
So AOC has put a letter together with a bunch of New York Democratic House members to Mr. Schumer and Ms. Pelosi. And I just want to review this with you. I think it's a fabulous letter. They don't want to give up anything. The more the merrier, which means the bill's going to be easier to beat. But $80 billion overall for direct housing subsidies, $80 billion. Jim, $90 billion for rental assistance, $90 billion for rental assistance. And then inside the subsidy, if I'm not mistaken, it's $20,000 to anyone buying a new home. But you have to meet certain racial tests in order to qualify for that. What do you think of that package?
It's just crazy, and it just goes to show how crazy this entire bill is. And you're right. The only thing that will stop this bill from passing is for the Democrat infighting to continue. And AOC leading the charge on the wacky progressive socialist radical wing of her side of the party versus Joe Manchin and Sinema and some of the more traditional Democrats on the other side. That's the only thing that's going to stop the bill from passing. But we have to get out and message with some of these crazy radical ideas like this one. What that will mean to homeowners, the value of your property will go down if this bill passes. And that's why we have to defeat it.
I think this is part of the suburban attack that the Biden administration wants. That's just for another interview, but I think that's part of it. She also wants, and I just want to put this in your attention, $107 billion, Jim Banks, for immigration assistance. 107. Now, I thought the parliamentarian in the Senate ruled out the original amnesty bill, but maybe not. Are there subsidies and things that are hidden in here that would provide assistance for illegals?
Without a doubt. In fact, as I said before, free college tuition for illegals, child tax credits for illegals. They found backdoor ways to put these types of subsidies into the bill. It's shameful, but it's an example of how radical this bill is and what it would do. I mean, Larry, this reconciliation bill won't send us down the path towards socialism. It will turn America into a socialist country overnight if it passes. And we put out, again, 42 reasons, Republican Study Committee memo. We'll make it available everywhere online if you search for it. You can find those 42 reasons, but these are all examples of how dangerous this bill will be, what it will mean to the bottom line, to lower your wages, make it harder for your employer to stay in business. It's going to put your daycare out of business or make it even more expensive to send your kids to daycare. It's going to mean the highest gas prices that you've ever paid if the bill passes. And that's just a fact, and that's why Republican Study Committee is doing everything that we can to fight against it.
And I'm sure you know this, but the absence of workfare and the absence of mean testing, I mean, not only do we not need new entitlements, but existing entitlements and income support plans should be means tested for eligibility, and they should have workfare. The Democrats are debating that internally. Do you think Manchin will win that, or do you think the left-wing progressives are going to win that?
Well, Joe Manchin always does the wrong thing at the end of the day. So to hang our hats on him protecting our republic is something that I don't sleep easily at night thinking about doing. But hopefully they come to their senses and realize that socialism is the wrong path for America. And to give them the benefit of the doubt and ever come to their senses on that is something that I'm not sure is fair or not. But again, the infighting between the two wings of their party is the only thing that's going to stop it.
Well, I'm going to give Joe Manchin some credit, particularly on these spending changes. I don't want him to raise taxes. But I'll just say, Jim Banks, thank you for coming on and part with this idea. Save America, kill the bill.
Thank you.
Pleasure.